You, my friend, are just in time to get a brief of all the news that's happening today. Welcome to Speedfeed. And of course, our top question for today, we're asking, should the curfew just be done away with? Is it effective at this particular point? We'll talk about what the High Court said about the containment measures in just a second, but let's start with politics of the day. President Uhuru Kenyatta, since he was meeting One Kenya Alliance in State House, Mombasa yesterday, but he still hasn't managed to convince the principals to support Raila Odinga. And during the meeting, One Kenya chiefs, Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, and Gideon Moi, they could not agree on the sharing of power positions and choosing a running mate. They haven't settled on that yet. And the leaders said they would look into the president's request after the Court of Appeal BBI ruling tomorrow. But President Uhuru did warn them against locking horns with the DP and Raila because it will antagonize. And as I said yesterday, it is probably going to lead to a situation of a runoff. But according to sources, they seemed to have agreed with the president on the risk of coming between Ruto and Raila, because that would change the whole metric of next year's elections. In another consultative meeting, the DP was happy about that meeting because they failed to pick a presidential candidate and a running mate. Ruto says that his competitors are struggling with tribalism, trying to form coalitions. He also added that the handshake could not solve the problems of Kenyans. He was meeting aspirants from various parts of Nairobi who want to run under UDA at his current residence. But somebody else did speak to the DP yesterday. That's Bahati MP Kimani Ngugi, who wanted DP Ruto to stop attacking Moses Kuria, Martha Karua, and former Agriculture Minister Mwangi Kiunjuri. The DP has been telling them to close their parties and join UDA. The Bahati legislator Gonjuri doesn't want Ruto to fight Mount Kenya leaders that have refused to disband their parties and join UDA. He is of the opinion that political parties offer a lifeline to people that want to exit their parties. So you should not make such demands that close down your parties and join me if you want to support me. Says, come down on that one. Now, Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe, on the other hand, he set out conditions that would push him out of Jubilee party leadership. This is after some Jubilee MPs met yesterday and they gave a press conference. Some of them are of the opinion that he is probably not the best person to be the vice chair of the party. The vice chair, though, David Murathe, was clear that only President Uhuru can eject him from the party, and those seeking to remove him from office will have to petition the president and hope that the party leader, the president, yields to their demands. And Kieni MP Kanini Kega is one of those who wants David Murathe and Jubilee Secretary General Raphael Tuju out of the party leadership. And the Jubilee Party is also kickstarting a campaign of their own to go to the grassroots and, popularize the party after several losses in by-elections. Now, let's talk about the curfew today, and this is the story that leads our question for today. Should the 10 p.m. curfew be removed? On the premise of the High Court declared the extension of COVID-19 containment measures as unconstitutional, the court found that the National Security Advisory Committee and the Cabinet tried to limit the right to assembly under the guise of fighting the pandemic. This ruling was given by Justice Mrima, who issued the judgment virtually on yesterday, on the same day that the president extended the curfew for another 60 days. And other containment measures, of course, included funerals and gatherings where the gatherings were restricted to 100 people, but the curfew was maintained between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Is it doing any good? Is it helping us? Is it helping is it the most effective way? Because now matatus are carrying to full capacity, so that's one of the things that the government has gone back on. So should they consider either extending the curfew later, 11, 12 p.m., or just doing away with it altogether? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them towards the end of the show. Meanwhile, the government is working on a plan to revise VIP travel and security privileges after that DP saga. DP Ruto saga, when he was going to Uganda. You all know what was happened. Everybody was talking about it. Now, so From that story, they want various security agencies, they want to cut down some of the privileges that VIPs have, to prevent them from abusing those privileges, because they can easily travel in and out of the country. And if they're not people of integrity, they can sneak in people who do not necessarily have the best interest for the country. And some of these agencies that will be meeting to discuss this include the police, the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, and the heads of Kenya's immigration. Now, there's a story that being discussed in the morning on morning radio. Kenyans love talking about this. So, if you're one of those people who is affected by matters of child support, members of parliament are seeking to have men and women equally share parental responsibility. And this is according to a bill that was tabled on the House by Homa Bay MP Peter Kaluma. Now, one of the highlights of the bill is the provision of maintenance order paid to the parent with primary care of the child. Whoever holds primary care, we will split 50-50. So if school fees is 10,000, 5G is 5Gs, because we both had the child. It's not the man paying everything or the woman taking all the responsibilities. But then again, I'm not a parent, so if you're a parent, if you're in a situation where you've been taken to court for child support, why don't you give us a comment in the comment section and see what's your experience like? I'm curious. Curious. Meanwhile, Parliament received a petition requesting for the removal of a police good conduct certificate. Good conduct certificate during job applications. So somebody petitioned Parliament to remove the requirement to have a police good conduct certificate. And the petitioner, her name is Susan Wangoe, believes this requirement is unfair for ignorant minors, innocent convicts, and those without a good lawyer. And the National Assembly Speaker, Justin Muturi, he referred the matter to the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security for further consideration. So if they consider this bill and they have raised a good point, then it will not be mandatory for you to have a good conduct certificate while applying for a job. What do you think about that? Some brilliant Kenyans who've been, raising some important matters of late. Yeah. On top of the students who petitioned their university, they went to court to sue their university to pay them for giving them useless degrees. And then there's this one. Yeah, young, brilliant Kenyans. Keep doing this. Yeah. 2 suspects are in police custody to answer to accusations of impersonating State House spokesperson Kanzadena and taking a loan of 10 million shillings using fake documents about forging her name. Now, the 2 were found in possession of 14 other fake logbooks, and these are the logbooks they were using to get those logbook loans that you see being advertised all over. And they also were soliciting for money from people pretending to be Kanzadena, and they would ask you to pay, and you would get to see the president once you made that payment. And they collected more than 10 million shillings, which again speaks to something I keep saying here, and you guys know, our institutions here in Kenya, there is so much that needs to be done about them. In fact, I think one of these people who's running for president, you should come up with that agenda of streamlining Kenyan institutions, because let me tell you why I'm saying this. It's because these people, they were colluding with NTSA to get those logbooks, because if there are corrupt individuals at NTSA, you can easily forge a logbook and go take a loan in someone's name, and then that person will end up paying a loan that they had nothing to do with. Identity theft. Think about it. Now, here's an inspiring story. This one was brought to you by Brian Casey Kimani from Kenyans, from our team here at Kenyans. Followed up the story of... okay, sorry. Yeah, you guys need to cue me on this one. Okay, yeah, go to Kenyans.co.ke. You can read such inspirational stories. This one is a feel-good story. Rising from a Kenyan refugee camp to high ranks in the U.S. Army. Yes, this is a story of Abdi Malik Hashi. Yeah, this is the gentleman here. Abdi moved. So the story is, he during the 90s, the boy in Somalia, his mom escaped from Somalia and walked for such a long distance to seek asylum in Kenya. And he was born in Kenya, and he grew up in Kenya as a refugee for 8 years. And his family was later relocated to the US. But when he was in the US, there were challenges, like he couldn't speak English, and there were so many challenges. And going through the school system in the US, joining the military was the only way he could stay in school. And Abdi Maik is now set to join the 186th Brigade Support Battalion and the 86th Infantry Brigade Combat Team for overseas deployment. I know the last sentence is confusing and you probably don't understand what I've just said. Just know that he is some top dog in the US military, all the way from a refugee here in Kenya. Such a wonderful story. Shall we do the thing again? Yes, I love it. Love it. So this is some of the news you can read on Kenyan Society KE, that we have a dedicated portal. Or is it a portal? What do you call it? A dedicated section of the website where you can just read feel-good stories. I think you can see it on that graphic there. Just if you're feeling like there's a lot of negative energy in the news, you can go to the feel-good section. And these are some of the stories, some beautiful stories. Now, from inspiring stories to awkward stories. Embakasi Central Member of Parliament, Benjamin Gadiro. He once nominated MP Minor Commander to be barred from chairing the Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity during certain sessions. Okay, so this is the story behind this. I found this to be quite funny. So the Embakasi Central MP is concerned that Minor Commander could act in favor of his son-in-law, who is a commissioner at the NCIC. You get the story? So Minor Commander's son-in-law is a commissioner at the National at the NCIC. Sorry, I've forgotten what the full name is. But the point is, so his son-in-law sits at the NCIC, and he chairs a commission in Parliament that is responsible for funding the NCIC. So one MP says, this dude is going to rule in favor of his son-in-law and give him more money. But John Buddy spoke in Parliament, and a opposer said, that's not a reason to block someone from sitting in a committee. Said Buddy told Gadiro that he should have found an instance where commander acted in breach of standing orders for there to be substantive evidence as to why he should be barred. Otherwise, and this is what he said, we can't go and ask who is married to who or whose son is married to who every time we are selecting members of committees. Sometimes you will sit in committees and you will have a coincidence where a member of your family is sitting in another committee. This is very funny. In fact, Amos Kimunya just stood up and said, find something more substantive to present in Parliament. Don't come here telling us about whose son is married to who and sitting in certain commissions. Does he have a point? Does Gadiro have a point, though? Because the issue of nepotism is also real here in Kenya. But again, it also needs to be approached with evidence. So, funny story. And Nike is selling the Team Kenya used Olympic kits. Yeah, let's see those pictures. You've seen them. Yeah, here they are. How do you feel about these kits? Yeah, they're going up on their website. Look, I love that one. I love the one with the lady. Let's see that one. This not too bad. And then this one looks good. This one looks good. Might decide to spoil someone's daughter. So these beats are on sale. At first, Kenyans didn't necessarily feel them, but there's a shield runner. What is a shield runner jacket? Shield runner jacket, running trousers, vests, tights, t-shirts. Yeah, they're all up there. Lakini, hey, bei. Enda uangalie bei. I think the cheapest that I saw there is 9,000. 9,000 shillings. But these kits were designed by A team of young Kenyans, Alan Basu, Philip Mudhuni, and Patrick Kingori. They're the ones who designed those kits for Nike. And the last story is one of Kenya's former vice presidents, Joseph Murumbi. Apparently, he used to be a collector. And he was collecting different items. Okay, if you know what collecting is, yeah, I'm assuming you guys know what collecting is. Yeah. So some of the items he was collecting are at display at the Kenya National Museums, and one American bank is going to be funding a project to preserve and restore some of the items he used to collect. The full story is available on Kenyan.co.ke. Not sure if you really care about this, but you should know that. Yeah, so that's it from Speedfeed.